called me up in November maybe and said, oh, saw a pretty good pigeon. Was she third that time?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she was third in her class the first show he was at. And she showed at one of our shows week before the Central, and she was grand champion. Showed at the Central the week after that, and she was grand champion. That was Vincent Silver Hen. And so with 2 months work on her, he kind of took her from a third to a grand champion. Okay, he's saying nothing. All right, so we watched them. Okay, Bobby, you're next. So what's the first thing that you see both Bobby, so what's the first thing you see all three of them doing?
Pulling the shoe and feather down.
Pulling the shoe and feather. Tell me what you mean by that, Andrew.
Pulling it down, bird that's lax, they don't overstop.
Okay, and I'm not sure that's the first thing they're doing.
Well, they're twisted, they're getting on the line. Well, they're flipping the bird up, looking to make sure everything's in line. They're starting with the shoeing, pulling that down, making everything line up, and then working towards them.
Now, one of the things you notice is how they're holding them. So one of the differences you've noticed already between those three, anybody? There's one really significant difference.
You sat down.
Yeah, okay. For me, when I lace tails, I like to sit down when I lace tails. Don't ask me why, but I find I can concentrate probably a little bit better doing that. So I prefer to do that. Do the tail mark while you're waiting, Tom. So I think the first thing they're doing is just putting those feathers in order. So Joe was giving Dominic a hard time, but you're trying to get that feather that would be the first shoeing feather on the bottom of each side. Try to get it so it's set up so it's the closest one to you. Okay? And frankly, to me, the hardest work is doing this part, is getting them to be lined up so you've got them in order. Then you're probably seeing all three of them are doing a little twisting while they're doing it. Massarello here, he's gone. Mass, come here. Massarello, come here for a minute. Come here. I'm not going to hurt you. I just want you to put your hands up like that. Okay? Anybody notice anything about his hands? Turn them around. Fingernails. Okay? His fingernails aren't as long. I mean, one time I remember seeing that it must have been at least 3/4 of an inch long on his thumbs. Why is he like that?
I could cut you with them. That's how deadly they were.
It's because with those fingernails, you can grab the bottom, the base of that feather and twist it. Okay? If you try to do that with your fingers, odds are you're going to end up twisting that in the socket that's going to come out on you.
Okay?
Yes, yeah, good. Thank you very much, sir. Thanks for your fingers. Don't do too much, Tom, because I want you to explain what you're doing here in a minute. I need 4 more birds brought up if I can. If you got a bird that you want to have laced, bring it up for me, please. Anybody's got a bird you want laced, bring it up. So, show him. So, okay, Lance has got a, anybody doesn't know, Lance is a taxidermist, so he's got a real tail. The advantage he has, you don't have to worry about holding the bird.
Yeah, you don't have to squeeze them too hard or make them lame or anything. This is a real simple thing. Most people don't understand is you can't cross the feathers. But what I've done is I've taken it loose here so there's no muscle holding those feathers straight. And here's what you can do with this tail that you can't do with the real bird. This tells you, see how the next one naturally comes up? It tells you whether they're crossed or not. See, if they're crossed, look what happens if they're crossed. And that's what we're doing when we're in there pulling them apart. When you cross them, these two come together. See, this way you can tell that they're separated. They're completely separated. And Brian showed me a long time ago to tell when you're done lacing, you turn it over, you look at the back, and it should be it should be fairly even on the back. I'll do this real quick. What you'll see when you look at the back, this is a really good way to learn how to lace the tail. You can learn a lot of things from this, but you'll notice is these are fairly even in between. They're evenly spaced every lap. So if there's two of them together, obviously you've got a problem in there. This is also a good way to learn if, when they tell you about turning feathers, you can look at this, you can pick it up in your hands and you can understand it. But on a live bird, everybody's a little bit tricky on